I've traveled from Newfoundland to Vancouver Island, and the experiences I've had riding a Harley in Canada, I could write a book.
Canadians are friendly. Canadians on bikes, I think, are the friendliest.
I love Canada. It's my favorite place on earth. So for the riders from another country to experience it, it's just awesome.
This is my country. I've seen it all by bike. People need to know how to experience what it's like to be Canadian.
I think this was a really good opportunity to showcase what Canada has to offer, and ultimately celebrating 100 years of Harley. I couldn't have thought of a better way to celebrate.
My name is Harley-Davidson. I live in Montreal, and I'm the founder of One Land Motorcycle magazine. Quebec is very different from the rest of Canada in terms of language, and I think for a rider from New Zealand, that will be interesting for him.
My name is REEVE, and I am from New Zealand. Finally got the call that said, "You're coming to Canada." I was like, and this is like proper unbelievable. Good to finally meet you, man. Yeah, good. How you doing? Good, good, good. It's good to finally be here, right? Yeah, Eduard's a cool guy. He is that stereotype. He's got a really hearty beard. It's quite an intimidating beard. It's a great piece of facial hair.
When I first met Jay, I think, yeah, he's a super nice guy. We're gonna have lots of fun. Maybe I'll have some troubles with the accent.
The whole French-Canadian thing was a big plus for me. It was always going to be awesome to not only get to Canada, but to see both sides of the culture, and it's going to be pretty interesting chats, I think, the further north we get. Well, I'll be staring at that tail light for the next 6 days. Yeah. Life behind bars in Harley-Davidson.
I'm very excited to be riding from Toronto to Quebec. I think it's a very good way of showing the diversity of Canada. In Ontario, Quebec is a very dynamic motorcycle scene.
There's no way that anyone from New Zealand ever gets to travel to Canada and do something as cool as this. So I'm super, super lucky, and everyone's super jealous, which makes it even cooler.
My name's Johanna Poltney. I'm born and raised in Edmonton, Alberta, and I've been riding motorcycles for 5 years. My family's actually from Zimbabwe. I'm first-generation Canadian.
I'm super excited to share this part of the country with somebody else. I don't think there's anything quite like the Canadian Rockies.
My full name is Eduardo Francisco Diaz Gutierrez Almaguer. I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. Eduardo is fine. I think it's attractive. Until I was on the plane to Canada, I was like, should I actually take 1 week of vacation from my job and come here? But then that little voice inside was like, hey, just say yes and go.
I'm going to meet Eduardo today at Kane's Harley-Davidson in Calgary.
I knew right away we were going to get along and have a lot of fun. He's like me, likes to talk a lot.
I think she's really energetic. Like, hey, how are you? Are you ready to ride? Okay, let's go.
My whole life I've always wanted to ride since I was a little kid. I think I was thinking, that looks badass. I'm most excited about seeing Eduardo's face as he experiences the Rockies.
We have some cool stops to make around Alberta, and I can't wait to show him my part of the country and give him a really cool Canadian experience.
Part of this trip is like creating new bonds. I can have friends in Canada, you can have a friend in Mexico, and that brotherhood, that family, it's the motorcycling world.
I've forged some of the strongest friendships I've ever had in my life over motorcycles, and it just seems to be a glue that sticks us together like nothing else.
My name's Daniel Ross. I'm from Airseg, Nova Scotia, born and raised. We're talking 6 generations of my Ross family in my homestead. I've been riding bikes all my life. I think the freedom of riding a motorcycle is it's good therapy. I'm having a visit from a Harley owner from India, and we're going to show him Nova Scotia in its glory. This guy is going to have his mind just absolutely blown.
My name is S.A.C. Vasant. In India, when you say Harley-Davidson, every boy would think about one man in this world, the Terminator and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Getting an opportunity to come to Canada and riding a Harley, wow man, nobody can say no to that. I'm really excited to meet Daniel and his family.
We were just hanging out, having a little motocross practice and in Sant rolls.
The moment I saw him, we shook hands and we just were connected.
The proudest I feel about being Canadian is that instant bond I had with Wissant. In seconds, we were friends.
He's a very friendly guy, very nice guy. And he looks like a body double of a Tom Cruise.
So here I am planning a trip with Wissant. And the cool thing with the Cabot Trail, it's not an out and back, it's a loop. So you're never longing for home. I cannot wait for this.
Since this is kind of an exchange program type, you know, I flew all the way from India to Canada. This is our Indian flag.
Oh, nice!
I thought I should carry my country's flag in Canada.
It's a real honor to help somebody put their flag on.
If a Canadian ties the Indian flag, it is an amount of respect and love he shows to my country. So if I do that same to him, that is the cultural exchange.
It's a cool kind of kickoff, you know? India, Canada, the Cabot Trail, here we go.
Yeah, and for a happy ride.
All right, here we go. Let's rip up the Cabot Trail now. When you're on a motorcycle trip, it's very special, right? There's nothing going on except pure pleasure. So here I go, I leave my driveway, look in the mirror, and I see this Indian flag on the back, and I knew it. I knew this was gonna be an awesome week. The sun was setting into the span of the ocean, and I could not pass Christy's look-off.
There, that's Christy's look-off. I'm turning in there. I want a selfie with us.
Wissant really likes getting selfies, so took a couple selfies with him, and then we head off to Port Hood. We had to get to bed early for the next day.
Tonight is the premiere for the Moto Social Toronto. I think it's a very big event. People are expecting about 1,000 bikes. So yeah, tonight is the night.
Everyone that I've ever met from Canada is really cool. Maple leaves, hockey, maple syrup, a boot. It's all good stuff. We turned up and there's just bike after bike after bike streaming in. It was massive, just beautiful, organised chaos.
This is your first time in Toronto?
Yeah, it's first time in Canada.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, 24 hours to get here and catch up with good friends and make bad decisions.
The vibe was exactly the same as I was expected. It was just like a Montreal Motor Social, but just way bigger. Well, yeah, we're going along the way from Toronto to Quebec City. And then we stop in Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec.
I definitely didn't expect the numbers, I didn't expect the bikes. And it's a great breeding ground for love and enthusiasm for motorcycles. It's just awesome.
I think this is what the motorcycle scene is all about right now. Today we're leaving Toronto. We're heading northeast to Bancroft.
Pretty cool getting out of Toronto. As soon as we hit the countryside, completely different to what I'm used to at home. The way that they do things here is really quite pretty and quite picturesque and a really, really beautiful part of Canada.
Need a pee, man. Yeah.
Rolled up to this barbecue joint in the middle of nowhere. Good to park up and actually learn something more about Edouard, because when you're riding bikes, there's never any chat about what it is outside of the kind of riding vibe that you're normally conversing on. Speaking of the whole job thing, I never even asked, what is it that you did for a job for One Land?
My full-time job is a freelance journalist, so that's what I do for a living. But before that, like 3 years ago, I was, because I'm a nurse actually, I was working with the First Nation population of the northern part of Quebec.
So pretty crazy to find out that he was a nurse, that he did all this incredible work, and now is using that passion that he had for nursing and helping other people to push motorcycling along, and he's doing a fantastic job of that. I used to be a cooking teacher.
Really?
Yeah. So
you see?
Primary school teacher, then I got a job as a cooking teacher, then got into radio, and then now I'm here.
I saw that you bought like the jacket yesterday, like this small jackets.
Yeah, I've got two identical boys. I got 3-year-old twins, Oscar and Hunter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're proper bike mad. So they got their first dirt bikes for their 3-year-old birthdays. Oh. Yeah, they go pretty quick too, man. It's gonna be cool, hopefully seeing them get into bikes. I mean, whatever they're into, but yeah, I look forward to being able to go riding with my sons.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's the hope anyway. Yeah, hopefully they get into bikes. It'll be rad.
That's cool.
Should we have a lie down on a large flat rock in the sun somewhere and digest all this barbecue and then ride again?
I think so, man.
We're heading out west of Calgary on the Trans-Canada. It's a really beautiful drive. I can't wait for Eduardo to see the mountains. He's arranged for us to go meet a Catholic priest. I'm always open to new customs and traditions with other people, so I will find out when we get there what that's all about.
This is the water I boiled the hell out of.
We don't have too many riding traditions in Mexico, but one really popular one is the helmet's blessing.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
If the mood is right and other riders want to do it, I would like them to join with me.
Dear Lord, we know that you're with Joanne and Eduardo as they go on their adventures, driving these wonderful-looking bikes. So I'm going to get a little holy water.
Oh, excellent.
This is the water I boiled the hell out of.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
But the important thing is, like, we all take our helmets to the priest, and we go to the mass, and then after that we do a little blessing of the bikes and the riders, motorcycles. Protect, you know, like give her thanks to be able to ride for the beautiful days and good company.
Thank you. That was awesome. I think the whole experience of being on a motorcycle in the Rockies, like your senses are very heightened. You get to smell the smells, breathe the air, feel the road, and like you really feel the presence of nature. I don't think there's anything quite like the Canadian Rockies. Today we're going to meet up with some members of the HOG chapter that is local to Calgary to give Eduardo a little bit of insight to what it's like to ride in the mountains.
Canada is one of the best sites in the world to ride a motorcycle in. You know, Banff, Lake Louise, up the Columbia Icefields, ride the Rockies. #1 destination.
I've never ridden in snow or anything like that, but what would you recommend, like how you keep moving forward to?
No, you stop.
You stop.
Diana and her whole group, they were really awesome, and they just really welcomed us. It's really nice to get some advice from people who have been riding in this area for a long time, and just kind of get invited to share in a little bit of their community.
I totally enjoyed that ride and heard stories. I think that's the best important thing you can get from anywhere.
Slow down a bit. Feel comfortable.
In Canada, the scenery is the thing that you always kind of pick up on, and the scenery from Bancroft through to Ottawa was some awesome winding roads and some incredible forestry and just lakes everywhere. We headed on to this place called the Biker Church, which is completely different to any other church that anyone would ever see. It looks like a motorcycle clubhouse. Hillbilly and the pastor were just such awesome guys. Hillbilly talked through his whole life story and how he had a really interesting path of sort of not so great choices.
So what's the story in behind, how did the Bikers Church come about?
I was an alcoholic, crack cocaine addict, and living kind of a outlaw biker lifestyle, and it was pretty much killing me at that point. And so I got into a faith-based rehab center, and then out of that, we birthed Bikers Church.
Essentially, motorcycle saved his life. It's what turned him around, and since he's been through that, he can act as a shepherd for those people that are making those bad choices and go, you know what, I've been there before.
When I walked away from the whole lifestyle of alcohol and drugs, it still provided an avenue for me where I could get out on a motorcycle and enjoy the riding aspect of being a biker. It was really getting me back on track as who I was as a person, you know.
Another thing that I've noticed here in Canada is that when people ride, they ride far. And I think you get a greater sense of pride for your country when you've seen more of it.
The experiences I've had riding a Harley in Canada, I could write a book.
Hallelujah.
That's a good one, I like that.
Once again, some incredible people doing some incredible things and providing a big communal group that looks out for one another.
Well, one thing we can say, I mean, the rain gear is good.
Well, put her through a helmet.
Welcome to Quebec. Buddy. And instantly, everything just changed. What the Bonjour.
Things start really ramping up as we get towards Montreal. It started to really pull the trip towards Edouard and how he grew up. We caught up with an incredible group of people called Ladies and Gentlemen.
I call them my motorcycle mentors. I'm super happy that we got the chance to meet these guys because, I mean, these are the reason why I started motorcycle at first. When I started, I had no friends who were riding, so I bumped into these guys over the internet. They were so welcoming with me, and I mean, this is where I realized that motorcycle is one thing, but the spirit behind the motorcycle that's a whole different thing.
Really slick setup, we got to ride with them. That's real traditional, great club riding. It's always about the journey and not so much the destination.
So today we're going lobster fishing. I got a buddy, Trevor, that fishes at a MABOU. Call him up, Trevor, can we go fishing? Absolutely. So I said, what time? He's like, well, 4:30. I'm on a bike trip and I have to get up at 4:30? What? It's a double haul today. The traps have been in the water for 2 days, so there's gonna be a lot of lobster. We're gonna eat some tonight. We just started to look around us, and it was like nature overload.
I was feeling, okay, it's just boating. But when we saw the lobsters with a claw, oh my God. The guys in the boat were teaching us, you are going to pick the lobster and you are going to do the banding. That was kind of scary because we have never done that before in my life.
Seafood here is so good, right? It's so good. We're getting supper. Tonight's gonna be awesome. Oh, you trust me. It's a thing of trust.
Kind of.
I'm gonna put this by your and see if you trust me.
That was a crazy moment of my life. That was amazing. That was really amazing.
All right. We caught our lobster. We're all set for tonight.
You made my day.
What's your bike's name? No Wind. N-O-V-I-N-D. Why No Wind? Nova Scotia and India. Yeah.
One of the coolest buddies I had that I knew someone had to meet was Shane McDougall. He's one of those guys, he's got friends everywhere. So we're gonna go check out his place.
So guys, I think we'll probably just hop on the bikes and head up.
Yeah, let's go.
Gonna cook some lobster.
Nice.
Cape MABOU. Right there. You ready?
Wow.
Started at 4:30 in the morning out in the ocean. Caught our own lobsters. It was like, how can it get any better? But look what we found. There's always a treasure. A party! A party here on Cape Breton Island. It's all about the people. And you know, at some point they have to eat. So we had ourselves a ceilidh, you know, a kitchen party.
The lobsters tasted amazing. And the best part was like, those lobsters were fished by us.
I can't imagine how awesome that was for Hassan. You liking your lobster? Yeah, I caught it. So I said, let's make this official. If this guy puts a lobster and hangs it from his hand, we'll call him a Nova Scotian.
He picked the biggest one with the biggest claw, and it was very terrifying. He picked the biggest one with the biggest claw, and it was very terrifying.
I'm done. It's true! I'm done. We are New Nova Scotia!
From today onwards, you know what we are called? Captain Claw.
So here we are up at the party. We did a square set, Celtic tradition here, and we had Gaelic culture, and the dancing, the singing, the cooking. Oh my goodness, it was so fun.
They did beautiful dance in their cultural style. It was a great experience dancing with their culture, and I hope I did it well. Shane asked me, what is the style of your dance? So yeah, that was the time to show some Indian Bollywood style of dancing.
It was almost a thank you to everybody in the room. Thank you for showing me what you're all about. Now I'm going to show you, not only is he teaching me everything about his place, but in every experience he went through, he taught back.
It was amazing. That moment, I can never, ever forget it in my life.
Joanna, you need to join me on the chorus.
No, thanks.
I felt like, okay, I'm getting all these emotions. I want to just pull over and let my eyes have an orgasm of this magnificent view.
Our ride from Banff out to Lake Louise was awesome. I thought it would be interesting to go for a little hike, get some exercise, do some Rocky Mountain sightseeing.
Really nice.
We actually had a snowball fight on our way up too, which was pretty fun. I don't think Eduardo has ever had a snowball fight before, so I made sure to make the first hit on that one. I just wanted to share a little bit with Eduardo this afternoon about my brother passing away. That happened 13 years ago, and we spent a lot of time together growing up. And I'd heard that Eduardo had had a similar experience, so I thought we might be able to find some common ground there.
He always really wanted to ride motorcycles, and so it's kind of something that that's like another really important reason why I ride.
Well, in my family we are 4 siblings, you know. So two sisters and 2 brothers, but my brother also passed away, but when we were really young, you know, so I wasn't able to bond too much, but living all those good experiences and always like remembering them, you know, I think as long as they live inside you, you are like with them, you know, like.
So I think about him a lot when I ride, and especially out in the mountains. He loved to be out here, and it's just very meaningful for me to have that experience and kind of carry him along with me, I guess, when I'm doing it.
Yeah. We talk about how important family is for us, how they inspired us to do some things and to get better at other things.
Today we're gonna head to Montreal, stop at the 63, which is a super nice shop with both thrift store, vintage stuff, and motorcycle stuff. We will meet the girls that are members of the motorcycle scene in Montreal.
Hello. Hi.
If the weather permit, we will go on a ride with Jay. We're kind of similar to what we call the Sasquatch ride, which is like riding with fur coats.
63 is a cool shop. That's my cup of tea. Like, I can understand why people hang out there. I have no idea where the white wolf fur coat came from. I don't think it was there.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, man.
Just run this one then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, on the lowrider ass. What do you think of that?
You look like a Sasquatch.
Yeah, thank you. I'm taking it as a compliment.
The Sasquatch ride is a great way of seeing the city and seeing how awesome it is. The beautiful parks, beautiful bridges, the amazing architecture. It was Montreal in all of its luster. To see Montreal in a white wolf fur coat, it was very special and a great way to wrap up the night by going up onto Mont Royal to see the whole city sort of roll out behind us.
Oh, look at that coastline right there.
The most iconic photo on the Cabot Trail has got to be the one from the peak of the SKYLINE Trail.
Look at this, the ocean right there. Want to go for a swim?
The moment I saw the sea and the clouds meeting at a point, that was a beautiful sight which I can never get to see.
All right, selfie time. Here we go. Look, we're double selfie.
Places in the world have different unique qualities and features, and this is one kind of it.
We're gonna make a calendar of all these cool pictures. Now I'm gonna ask you for that piggyback.
Parks Highway is really beautiful. Joins Banff up to Jasper. The weather can be very variable in that area. So today we were looking outside, it had rained a little bit, but it looked clear. So we were like, hey, let's just get on our bikes. No rain gear, see how it goes. That was a mistake.
We stopped.
Yep.
There's officially water seeping into my boots.
Yeah, whoa, no.
We stopped.
Yeah.
I have a pool party on my boots, and everyone was invited.
We got drenched. I think we were pouring water out of our boots and we were freezing. My hands have never been so cold riding in the Rockies.
I think that while you're riding, it always comes to reaching your limits and then breaking them and establishing new limits. So I think this one was a really large limit that I established thanks to Johanna. She really inspired me and gave me like the motivation to keep forward, and later on they can laugh about my ass.
Good morning, Alberta.
We're heading up to meet up with some folks from the Jasper Motorcycle Tours company. So we rolled up to the side of the road and there was Candace.
Hi, I'm Johanna.
Really nice to
I've heard
meet
so
you.
much about you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for making time.
She had herself and 22 bikes out to meet us.
This is very impressive. I didn't realize that there was such a large local riding community in Jasper.
Yes,
so.
there is quite a bit. Once we start putting everybody together, we've got quite a few bikes.
And they were just so excited to share their community with us.
Well, do we get to go for a little ride?
I think we should ride.
Yeah, I think we should ride too.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
The people there, like reinforcing that experience of really good Canadian motorcyclists. They don't know me, they don't know where I came from, and in the end, they receive me like really warmly. It doesn't matter your nationality, your skin color, your sexual preferences, whatever. Like, as long as you like to ride and you are a kind person, that's the only thing you need to do to be part of this larger family that we have.
There was even 2 little girls that like to ride in the sidecars that came out today.
Do you think you want to ride your own Harley when you're older?
Yeah.
What about you?
I definitely do.
Definitely do?
She's hooked already. You gotta start them young.
Awesome, good job.
We've created an animal.
Canada.
Yeah, it's the strangest thing having headpieces connecting myself to Edouard. Because I sing and all sorts. I do heaps of annoying things.
Yep. Brum, 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 brum. Wasn't me.
We're gonna stop at HARKER Cycle, this crazy shop in Portneuf. My friend Pat Desureau, he's one of the greatest builder I know, but he also like this beautiful energy, so I'm really stoked that Jay, we're gonna get to meet him.
Rolled right into the middle of his shop, and Pat's in a barber chair getting his hair cut, and there's a guy playing guitar, and there's just, once again, it's show de joie. He's got that special thing where he just attracts amazing people.
I love working on bikes. It's my passion. I'd rather work on a bike than ride a bike. Every time I work on something, it's got to be nice, it's got to be well done, and everything's got to be really great.
With the resurgence of the bike culture, we kind of wanted to know where our roots were from, and that's exactly what Pat's doing in the customization of bikes. And like he said, he's an artist.
As an artist, sometimes I guess it might be difficult, for example, if you're a painter, you know, just when this painting is done.
You tell me where I stop, because I'm not going to stop, you know. It's crazy.
This is something you see in cool videos like in California or something like that, and then we all realize that, whoa, we have this in Quebec, you know? I mean, how can you ask for more?
I see it as a destination, you know? Like from Quebec or Montreal, let's go out HARKER Cycle, get my beard trim, or let's go have a beer, have a coffee, you know?
If I was to kind of compare the New Zealand scene and what my friends are like and what we're up to, that's pretty much exactly it, but a Quebecois version of it.
Yeah, do you mind if we just hang out, watch you drink beer, maybe get a haircut?
I was really proud. I mean, yeah, that's the word, I think. I was really proud because the whole point of this was to show Jay from New Zealand what's the motorcycle culture here in Ontario and Quebec. And I mean, these guys from Quebec, I mean, they nailed it. They totally nailed it. I mean, this is exactly what we are and who we are. That was just perfect.
The Cabot Trail, what makes it so good is how technical it is, how alone it is at parts, how in the forest, in nature, on the coastline, it's rough, it's rugged, it's twisty, it's hill climbs, it's just so nice, and it cuts through small little villages and whatnot.
Daniel took me to the Doramon pub with more friends, and we were just having a great chat on the table. Then this guy put a question, okay, what do you do? I am an illusionist. I travel around the world and that's what my business is.
Now watch this very close. Suppose if I cover like that and like that. Now watch. You got to think to travel. Yeah. Yeah. Now watch this. Now watch this. Oh yeah.
Oh my God!
No wait, it's not over. It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
Fool around with people, and he's doing some magic tricks to a couple people, friends around the table, and the musician's taking a break.
What's up? From India. Come on up, come on up. All of a sudden, Daniel just borrowed the mic and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, my friend from India was on."
This was not actually the part of the plan. That beep put me into the whole thing.
So I have to do the best, but I was not prepared. So I have to play with the objects which was around in the hotel, and I think they had a great fun.
Do not blink your eyes. Please keep watching about the whole thing. Watch this again. Very slow. All right? I go slow. Mike, you're going to be happy. Do not blink your eyes. Please keep watching about the whole thing. So Mike, you gave me how much? $20. And
Beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Oh, man. You have really taught me a lot in this trip, you know. I would like to teach you something about my culture.
Oh, yeah?
Have you ever tried yoga? Now that's my time to score my point here.
We're gonna do some yoga.
So first, you need to strip and go naked.
In Indian culture, we cross our legs and we sit in yoga. For Daniel, it was something new. So I lifted my body and I started swinging like that, and he was going crazy out there.
He also made me stand on my head.
If possible, lift your hands and pray to the God.
Are you kidding me? I did it for a millisecond, and oh, my neck still could use a little bit of a massage, I'd say. I think my Road King is gonna give me a little massage. You wanna get going?
I was praying to the sun this morning in yoga, and the sun said, "Little man, I'm gonna shine on you today."
We're gonna drive to ESKASONI, and we're meeting some MIKMAG riders.
So our community is about 15 kilometers this way. They have like a village there, and I think demonstrations all around as to the culture way in the past.
I have Acadian roots and I have Scottish roots. And now I can talk to the people that were here even before they arrived.
This is sort of like the Canada 150 this year. We like to call it like 13,000 maybe. We've been here a little longer than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Add a couple more zeros to that.
13,000?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a lot of beer we have to drink tonight. I'm up for it. We're going to a place called Goat Island, and we're going to see what Mi'kmaq culture is all about.
How does anybody feel getting smudged? What I'm going to do is going to light the white sage, and we're going to do some cleansing and some smudging.
You just wave and wash yourself with the smoke and aroma of the sage that they burn.
In my language, they call it sambrani. And the idea was the same, to get the evil away. That was an awesome moment where I could understand that the borders and the language might be different, but somewhere this culture is all on the same line. We have just a small branches here and there. We are all one.
They were just introducing us to what they were proud of. So I really got a good impression of the culture and how they lived.
They taught us another form of dance.
Not bad.
You girls are awesome.
It's good.
The moment she said it's friendship dance, I connected it to my friends, and it really meant a lot to me that day.
Yeah, oh, no, yeah, moms. We're all friends now. Yeah.
We met a great bunch of guys, and we all rode into Quebec City.
So this is the next generation of Harley riders. You got the best of it right now. I think we're good for another 100 years.
It was cool just sitting at the back and being led in by sort of 6 other guys riding bikes, and it's an individual pursuit which can be enjoyed as a collective, and that's something really special about riding.
My friend Fred owns a crazy snack bar in Quebec City. Obviously, you have to try the poutine, mandatory when you're visiting.
I've been wanting to tick off certain things that you need to achieve in a trip to Canada, and poutine is one of them. There are 15 different types of poutine, and so I probably consumed about half of my body weight in potatoes and cheese curd and gravy. Wrapped up a great night in Quebec City, and I got to tick off the best poutine in all of Quebec. Should we go for a run and maybe have a salad and have a green smoothie? When we woke up in the morning, it was a little bit drizzly, and we ran down through old Quebec City. Riding through Quebec City, I could have been somewhere in Europe. The architecture was just painstakingly beautiful. There's this massive castle in behind a big fortified wall that just rings around the city, until we jumped on the ferry to punch it across to the other side. And you look back and you're just like, man, this place is just insane.
Plan is today to head out of the mountains, out of the Rockies.
The road was amazing. We got the opportunity to see some lakes and also to see the last mountain chains of that area.
I think I'm really going to get this mountain.
Yeah, me too.
We've planned to stop at a place called the SPUR Saloon in a little town called WILDWOOD.
I think that's the most biker bar I have ever been in my life, you know, because it's actually like a saloon, you know, there's gambling, pool tables, drinks, and really nice folks to talk to.
This is Johanna.
Nice to meet you.
Cindy.
I know Cindy. Cindy was my school bus driver when I was.
Look at that! Get out!
Honestly? Yeah, and I went.
She kind of grew up. Oh my God.
Because I was never going to grow up. Yeah.
No. As they say back in Mexico, no. We are the ones who get old. You stay the same. Same age.
Thank you.
So I got the opportunity to meet the owner of the bar, and he has a chopper, totally custom, gorgeous bike, and he actually invited me to ride it. If they ask me what will be one of the things that I will do here in Canada, I will never be riding a chopper. I was accepting the challenge, you know, like, and then while I was riding, I was like, okay, don't mess up with this, don't mess up, please.
Ay, cabrón.
After we started rolling it was really cool, actually. I think they're more comfortable than they look like.
Wow.
Yeah, it's good.
Wow, yeah.
It looks good on you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's cool.
Amazing. How kind you are is the example of how Canada is, you know? It's kind people, crazy, stunning, and amazing, really. Thank you very much for everything, really.
No problem.
It was totally amazing.
I don't like when you rest your helmet like that.
What?
It stresses me out. Thank you.
Okay, Mom.
We're gonna ride the rest of the way into Edmonton and meet up with a couple of my friends that I ride with through the LITAS. I'm very excited to see my friends today and have them meet Eduardo.
It feels pretty good to be home.
The LITAS is a global collective of women who ride motorcycles. Doesn't matter what you ride or what your background is or where you came from. We just want to create a really supportive environment. I really wanted Eduardo to see that because I know he's seen a bunch of different communities, but I think that ours is unique in its own way.
You know, it was really cool. Like, I get the vibe like they were really open to me. And when you get the opportunity to meet someone's friends, you can actually see a little bit of how that person is.
I've known for a couple of days that saying goodbye to Eduardo would probably be hard because I'm an emotional person. I have no words.
No worries, just hug it out. Well, I feel a little bit emotional, you know, because you want this journey to keep going, like living this moment forever.
We rolled up to Riviere de LOUP and we finally caught up with Rico.
Rico is a hardcore motorcycle enthusiast. He's gonna drive us to his cabin in the wood so we can end our journey with a real taste of the Quebec and Canadian culture.
I think that really wrapped up the trip quite well, kind of literally, because we couldn't ride any further.
So we have no choice. And we cannot go any further because of the, it's like that, but with ice.
So we went off sort of a little muddy trail and then walked the last couple of 100 meters to his cabin, which is this beautiful log cabin that his grandfather built.
That cabin was the end of the road, like metaphorically, in a way, because this is where our journey ends for me and Jay. We're gonna go separate ways from now. To me, I think that this was the missing part of the whole road trip from what we saw. You think you know who you are, you think you know what you live into, but when you have someone from the outside just come in and say, I like this is so cool, wow, you got that. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's all I know, but now I mean, I'm gonna have a different perspective on it, I think.
It's just been the raddest trip, man, and you know, you put together a mad slice of heaven for me to experience, and for that, man, I'll be forever grateful. So, cool, man. Cheers, bro. A couple more of these.
Yep.
So after riding all of Cape Breton, we ended in Sydney. That's the end of my bike journey officially.
What do you think? That's it? This is the end of the line.
It's kind of a burden in my heart that, you know, we end the biking here.
He was sad that the trip was over and away, but it was so satisfying too because he made 200% out of his experience.
I did feel very much at home. The food, the culture, the people, wow, what else can we say?
I feel like I do know Wasan. We have so much in common. I really feel that we're true friends.
Me and Daniel, we just met for a week and it felt like we have been buddies from childhood.
I really do feel like this whole project changed me. I learned how to share things that I take for granted and to be more interested in where people come from. I think that's the inspiration I get from Wasan. Here I was showing you what Canada was all about. And I just thought I'd get to know you, but I think I know a little bit more about myself too.
Yes,
yeah. And we met the MIKMAG, and they say, we don't say goodbye.
They say, see you again.
See you again.
So, we'll meet again.
We will meet again.
Shukriya Nandri. Oh my God, you said that. Oh, buddy, that's nice.
One thing for sure is when I go back home, I have a big story to tell.